Malls are supposed to be about life, right? Shopping, eating, hanging out with friends. But what happens when everyone leaves and the lights go out forever? These three true stories from abandoned malls in Michigan include explorers who found fresh food in a mall that's been dead for years, a photographer who discovered someone had been watching her the entire time, and a security guard who realized the mall he was guarding him instead. After hearing these, you'll never look at an empty store the same way again. Drop a comment right now. Where are you watching from? What time is it there? And have you ever been inside an abandoned building? Let me know, because by the end of this video, you might change your mind about urban exploring forever. And if you're new here, hit subscribe and ring the bell for weekly true horror stories. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Story 1. The Birchwood Mall. They never really left. Okay, so picture this. It's October 2022, and these two urban explorers, let's call them Jake and Tyler, they're sitting in Detroit, scrolling through urbex forums like they do every weekend. They've explored everything, abandoned factories, creepy hospitals, you name it. But then someone posts about Birchwood Mall in Port Huron. Now, Birchwood wasn't just abandoned, it was perfectly preserved. Like, imagine walking into a mall where everything just stopped. The escalators are frozen mid-step. The food court tables still have napkin dispensers. It's like everyone just vanished in the middle of a regular shopping day. The last store pulled out in 2021, and the owners? They literally just walked away, didn't even bother boarding it up properly. Jake and Tyler see these photos and they're like, we have to check this out. Big mistake. They show up at midnight. No moon, pitch black. The parking lot is this massive ocean of cracked concrete with weeds growing everywhere. And the mall? It's just this huge dark shape against the sky, like a sleeping monster. Here's where it gets weird already. Finding a way in was stupidly easy. There's a service door by the old Sears, and someone had already pried it open. The lock is just hanging there, all twisted up. Red flag number 1, right? Someone else had been there, recently. But did they leave? Nah. They went in anyway. The second they step inside, the temperature drops like 20 degrees. Their breath is coming out in clouds, but outside, it was barely cool. Michigan in October isn't that cold. Tyler clicks on his flashlight and, guys, the silence. Jake said it was the kind of silence that hurts your ears. No electricity humming, no cars outside, nothing, just their breathing echoing in this massive empty space. So they're walking deeper into the mall, filming everything for their YouTube channel. They get to the food court, and it's exactly like the photos. Everything perfectly arranged, like the mall closed 5 minutes ago. But then Tyler spots something that makes zero sense. There's a tray on one of the tables, with fresh food on it, not old, moldy, been sitting there for years food. We're talking about a burger with grease still glistening, French fries that look like they came out of the fryer maybe 2 hours ago. Someone had been eating there that night, in a mall with no power. No restaurants, not anything. Any normal person would have booked it right then. But Jake and Tyler, they kept going. Because of course they did. They decide to check out the second floor. The dead escalator looks like a mouthful of metal teeth. That's literally how Jake described it. Every step they take, it groans like it's going to collapse. They get to the top and that's when they hear it. Music, but not normal music. It's this tinny, creepy sound, like an old music box or a broken carousel, and it's coming from deeper in the mall. Tyler's like, that's impossible, there's no power. But the music keeps playing, getting louder as they walk toward it. They pass all these empty stores, dead plants in the planters. this children's play area with plastic horses that look absolutely terrifying in the flashlight beam. The music is coming from the old Spencer's department store at the end of the mall. The entrance to Spencer's is pitch black. Their flashlights can't even penetrate more than a few feet inside, but the music is definitely coming from there. And now they hear something else. Footsteps. Not normal footsteps. These are dragging, shuffling, like someone with a broken leg trying to walk. Tyler, and remember, this guy has explored some seriously scary places. Tyler says, "We need to leave now." But before they can move, Jake sees them. Eyes. Dozens of eyes reflecting their flashlight beams from inside the store. At first he thinks, "Oh, it's just mannequins." But then the eyes blink and they start moving. What came out of that store? I still get chills thinking about it. People, but wrong. All wrong. There's a woman in a 1960s dress like she stepped out of Mad Men, a guy in an 80s tracksuit, a teenager dressed like it's 1995, all different decades, all in this mall in 2022. Their skin is pale, like paper white. They're all moving with this shuffling walk, like their joints don't work right. But the worst part? They're all smiling. These huge, impossible smiles that stretch their faces way too wide. Like someone took a normal smile and just kept pulling. Jake and Tyler run. Behind them, they hear the shuffling. Not running. These things never run. But that steady shuffle, shuffle, shuffle multiplied by dozens of feet. The escalator is a nightmare. Tyler slips halfway down, his flashlight goes flying, and Jake has to grab him and pull him up. They're sprinting through the dark, their remaining flashlight swinging wildly. The exit seems miles away. The shuffling is getting closer. And then they hear the voices. Sweet, pleasant retail worker voices. "Can I help you find something? We're having a sale today. The mall closes at 9. But underneath, like a whisper coming from the walls themselves, "Stay with us. Shop forever. Never leave." They burst through that service door and into the parking lot. They run to Tyler's car, and as they're peeling out, Jake looks back. The entire mall is lit up. Every window glows with warm, inviting light. Through the glass, he can see a busy mall, people shopping, families in the food court, kids playing. A normal, thriving mall at 2 a.m. But mixed in with the normal shoppers, he can see them, the pale ones, the ones with the wrong clothes and the too wide smiles, waiting. Tyler moved to Colorado 3 months later. Jake stopped urban exploring completely. He told me that sometimes, when he's in a regular mall and hears that generic background music, he remembers. And he wonders if those things are still there, in the dark, shuffling around, waiting for the next explorer, waiting to add to their collection. Story 2, Hampton Town Center and Adrian Mall, The Watcher in the Walls. All right, this story messed me up when I first heard it. Sarah Chen, 28, was living the dream. Professional photographer with this Instagram account, Forgotten Michigan. 50,000 followers who loved her abandoned place photography. That perfect aesthetic, moody lighting through broken windows, nature reclaiming buildings. Brands were noticing her. Magazines wanted features, book deal in the works. But Sarah had one unbreakable rule. She always worked alone. "Other people ruin the vibe," she'd say. "I need to feel the space by myself." That was her first mistake. January 15th, 2023. Sarah gets a DM from @MichiganLostPlaces. No profile pic, no posts. "Hey, love your work. Interested in a unique location? Hampton Town Center and Adrian Mall, 2 connected malls. Hampton's weird, Abandoned but maintained. Adrian is pure decay. Never seen anyone shoot there. Two connected malls? Unusual. She researches. Hampton closed in 2018, but someone's paying for maintenance, fans running 24/7. Adrian Mall, attached by a service corridor, abandoned since 2014. No maintenance, nothing. She messages back, "This weekend?" Saturday night is best. Security does monthly checks on Fridays. How did they know the security schedule? Red flag. But Sarah was already packing her gear. Saturday, January 20th, 11 p.m. Sarah pulls into Hampton Town Center's massive parking lot. The first weird thing? Some of the parking lot lights still work. These orange sodium lights create pools of sickly light across the cracked asphalt. For an abandoned mall, that's unusual. She does a full circle of the building in her car first, another one of her rules. Know your exits. The mall is huge, classic 90s architecture, all beige and burgundy. Most windows are boarded up, but she can see gaps, points of entry. She parks near the old Macy's anchor store and grabs her gear. 2 cameras, her main DSLR and a backup. 6 flashlights of various sizes, extra batteries, protein bars, water, first aid kit, pepper spray. She's not messing around. The loading dock behind Macy's has a lock that's been cut. Recent cuts too. The metal's still shiny. Someone's been here lately, but that's normal. Urban explorers share locations, and once a spot gets known, lots of people visit. She slips inside. The first thing that hits her is the sound. Those industrial fans the message mentioned, they're loud. This constant white noise is humming through the vents. It's actually kind of comforting, like the building's still breathing. The loading dock opens into the back corridors, employee areas. She makes her way through, following signs for mall entrance, her main flashlight cutting through the darkness. Then she pushes through the employee door into the main mall and, wow, Hampton Town Center is eerie in its preservation. Her flashlight beam reveals storefronts with their gates half down, like they closed for the night and never opened again. The tile floor is dusty but not destroyed. There's no graffiti, no smashed glass, none of the usual destruction you find in abandoned places, but it's the details that make her skin crawl. A janitor's cart left in the middle of the corridor, mop still in the bucket. A jewelry kiosk with watches still in the display case, their faces clouded with dust. A children's play area where plastic animals grin in the darkness. Sarah starts shooting. The photos are good, that golden, abandoned aesthetic her followers love. But something feels off. It takes her a while to figure out what. The dust patterns are wrong. In truly abandoned places, dust settles evenly. But here, there are paths through the dust. Subtle, but once she notices, she can't unsee them. Like someone walks these corridors regularly. Recently, she's 2 hours into shooting when she remembers the real prize, Adrian Mall, the truly abandoned one, connected by that service corridor the message mentioned. She finds it near the old food court, a sign reading, "Service Corridor, Authorized Personnel Only." The door is propped open with a brick. Who propped it open? When? Why? She should have left then. Instead, she went deeper. The service corridor is a different world. Narrow, maybe 8 feet wide. Concrete walls are sweating with moisture. The temperature drops immediately. If Hampton was chilly, this is Arctic. Her breath comes out in thick clouds. The ceiling is low, covered in pipes and wiring. Some pipes burst, creating frozen waterfalls of ice. Black mold creeps up the walls like reaching fingers. Her footsteps echo weirdly, like the sound can't figure out which way to bounce. 50 feet in, the fans from Hampton fade away. The silence is oppressive. All she can hear is her breathing, her heartbeat, the crunch of ice under her boots. The corridor seems to go on forever. Her flashlight barely penetrates the darkness ahead. Behind her, the door to Hampton is a distant rectangle of slightly lesser darkness. Then she sees it. The door to Adrian Mall. It's different from every other door. Heavy, metal, industrial, and covered in scratches. Deep gouges in the metal, all on the Hampton side, like something with claws trying to get out, and this thought makes her stomach flip, like someone tried really hard to keep something in. There's a padlock on the door. It's been cut, the chain hanging loose. Sarah grabs the handle. The door grinding open sounds like a scream in the silence. The smell hits her immediately. Decay. Moldavian stagnant water, and underneath it all, something organic. Something is wrong. Adrian Mall exhales its rotten breath, and Sarah steps inside. Adrian Mall is what Hampton should have been. True abandonment. Water drips from holes in the ceiling, forming ice stalactites. Entire sections of the roof have collapsed, letting in shafts of moonlight that only make the darkness darker. It's January in Michigan. Without heat for 9 years, the mall has become a cave of ice. Puddles have frozen into skating rinks. Store windows are opaque with frost. Her thermometer reads 14 degrees Fahrenheit. But it's beautiful, in that terrible way abandoned places can be. Sarah's in her element now, setting up shots, playing with light and shadow. The old food court is a masterpiece of decay, tables overturned, plants somehow still growing in planters, their leaves white and wrong from lack of sun. She's adjusting her tripod when she sees it. A power strip, ordinary orange power strip, plugged into an outlet on the wall. The little light is on. It has power. That's impossible. Adrian Mall hasn't had electricity since 2014. She's seen the utility records in her research. Power was cut, meters removed. There should be no electricity here. But the light glows, warm and wrong in the frozen decay. Sarah should have left, should have taken her photos and gotten out. But she's a photographer, and more than that, she's curious. That's what makes her good at what she does. The need to see, to document, to understand. She follows the cord from the power strip. It snakes behind an old pizza counter, disappearing through a hole roughly cut in the drywall. Not natural decay. Someone made this hole. Recently. She squeezes through. She's in the back area now. The maintenance corridors under Adrian Mall. It's warmer here, protected from the elements, and there are more cords. Dozens of orange extension cords create a web along the walls, all leading deeper into the maze. Her flashlight catches something that makes her stop. Footprints in the dust, fresh ones, leading the same direction as the cords. Every instinct screams at her to leave, but she follows the footprints. The maintenance tunnel opens into a larger room. Maybe an old employee broke into a room or storage area. Sarah stops in the doorway, her brain trying to process what she's seeing. Someone is living here. There's a mattress in the corner, not moldy or ancient, relatively clean, with actual blankets. A hot plate sits on a makeshift table, recently used judging by the food residue. Cans of food stacked against one wall. Bottles of water, books, clothes hanging on pipes to dry. But that's not what makes Sarah's blood run cold. It's the walls. Every surface, walls, ceiling, even parts of the floor, is covered in photographs. Thousands of photographs. Sarah steps closer, her flashlight playing across the photos. They're all people in the malls, Hampton and Adrian. Different people, different times, but all exploring, all unaware they're being photographed. She recognizes some faces. That's Josh from the Detroit Urban Exploration Group. There's Ashley, who runs the Abandoned America blog, Mike from her photography class, who disappeared last year. Everyone thought he just moved away. The photos are organized, methodical. Each person's journey through the malls is documented in sequence, entering, exploring, taking their own photos, and in each sequence, something else becomes clear. They're not alone in the photos. There's something following them. A shadow. A dark shape is always just out of focus, always a few steps behind. And in each sequence, it gets closer. Sarah's hands are shaking now. She follows the photos along the wall, seeing the pattern. The shape gets closer and closer until the sequences just end. The last photo of each person shows them alone, looking happy, unaware, then nothing. Her flashlight beam reaches the far wall. Newer photos. These are still damp, like they were just developed in whatever makeshift darkroom this freak has down here. They're of her. Sarah can't breathe. There she is, entering Hampton's loading dock 3 hours ago, setting up her first shots, adjusting her camera, walking the corridors, checking her phone, taking a drink of water. Every single moment documented. And in every photo, that shadow, that shape, following her, getting closer. In the last photo, the one that must have been taken just minutes ago, she's squeezing through the hole behind the pizza counter. The shadow is right behind her, so close it's almost touching. A hand grabs her shoulder. Sarah screams and spins around, her flashlight swinging wildly. What it illuminates will haunt her forever. It looks like a man. That's the closest word. Tall, probably 6.5 feet, but thin in a way that makes her think of insects. Wearing maintenance coveralls that might have been blue once, but are now stained with things she doesn't want to identify. Years of dirt, rust, and something darker. His face is pale, not normal pale, translucent pale. She can see veins underneath, dark rivers under rice paper skin. His hair is long, greasy, hanging in clumps. But his eyes are completely black. No whites, no pupils, just dark, empty holes that seem to pull in light. "You're not supposed to be here," he says. His voice is like grinding metal, like he hasn't spoken in years. The mall is closed. Sarah's paralyzed. The pepper spray is in her pocket, but she can't move, can't breathe. Those black eyes hold her like a physical weight. "But you're so beautiful," he continues, tilting his head at an unnatural angle. "So much better than the others. They never appreciate what I show them. The mall, how it lives, how it breathes, how it looks." He steps closer. The smell hits her. Decay, chemicals, and something sweet sick like rotting fruit. "I've been watching you for so long. Your photos, your art. You understand abandoned places. You'll understand this. You'll stay. You'll see what I see." That breaks the spell. Sarah shoves him hard and runs. She's sprinting through the maintenance tunnels, completely lost. Behind her, she can hear him following, but the sound is wrong. Too many footsteps, like he's skittering along the walls as much as running on the floor. "The mall is closed," his voice echoes through the tunnels. "All shoppers must leave." But the words are degrading, becoming something else. The mall is closed. All shoppers must leave. The mall is closed. Sarah bursts out into Adrian Mall proper. The ice makes running treacherous. She slips, goes down hard, her camera bag flying. Thousands of dollars of equipment scatters across the frozen floor. She leaves it. Nothing matters but getting out. But Adrian Mall doesn't want her to leave. The corridors seem wrong. Stores she passed on the left are now on the right. The food court she came from is somehow ahead of her. The exit signs point in impossible directions. Behind her, always behind her, that skittering sound, getting closer. "You can't leave," the voice echoes. "No one leaves. They're all here, in my photos, in the walls, in the mall, forever and ever and ever." Sarah finds the service corridor by pure luck. Or maybe the mall is done playing with her. She sprints down the narrow passage, bouncing off walls, ice crunching under her boots. She can see the door to Hampton ahead, 20 feet, 10 feet, 5. She slams through and keeps running. Hampton seems different now. The maintained decay feels like a trap. The humming fans sound like breathing. But she knows the way out. The employee corridors, the loading dock, her car. She makes it. Fumbles with her keys. Start the engine. As she peels out of the parking lot, she makes the mistake of looking back. Every window in Adrian Mall is lit up. Impossible, but there it is. Warm, inviting light pouring out. And in every window, a silhouette. Watching. Sarah drives home in a panic. She's shaking so badly she has to pull over twice. When she finally makes it to her apartment, she triple locks the door and collapses. Then she remembers. Her camera. She dropped her main camera, but the backup is still in her bag. She'd set it to automatic interval shooting, a photo every 30 seconds to document her exploration. With trembling hands, she uploads the photos. What she sees makes her run to the bathroom and vomit. In every single photo, he's there. From the moment she entered Hampton, he was following her, in the shadows, behind pillars, in reflections, getting closer with each shot. By the time she reached Adrian, he was practically touching her. But the last photo on the memory card, she didn't take this one. It shows her, at home, in her bed, sleeping. The timestamp is from 3 nights after her visit to the malls. In the corner of the photo, barely visible, is that pale face with black eyes. Watching, the file name, "Regular customers always welcome back." Sarah left Michigan within a week, deleted everything, changed her name, moved to Montana, no malls for hundreds of miles. Work in a bookstore now, no photos. But sometimes she hears it, camera shutter clicking. Last month, a photo under her door, her walking to work, a familiar shadow getting closer. The watchers still there in Adrian Mall, still photographing explorers. Locals see impossible lights in the powerless building, shapes in windows, all the people who never left. So next time you see an abandoned mall, remember Sarah. Remember that some places aren't abandoned. They're under new management, and they're always hiring. Rolling Acres Mall. The security guard who never clocked out. Okay, this last one is going to mess with your head because it's about a guy who was just trying to make ends meet. Marcus Williams, 24 years old, fresh out of college, drowning in student loans. He takes the first job he can find, night security at what's left of Rolling Acres Mall. The pay is garbage. The hours are 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., but it's supposed to be easy money. The mall's been dead for years, but some companies use parts of it for storage. His job? Make sure nobody steals copper pipes or whatever. Sit in the office, watch monitors, walk rounds every 2 hours. Simple. For the first week, it is simple. Boring even. He watches Netflix on his phone, does his rounds with a flashlight, checks the storage areas, goes back to the office. Week 2 is when everything goes wrong. It's 2 a.m. Marcus is doing his rounds when he sees him, a man, standing in the main atrium, just standing there, staring up at the old skylight that's been covered with plywood for years. "Hey," Marcus calls out. "This is private property. You need to leave." The man doesn't move, doesn't even twitch, just keeps staring up at nothing. Marcus approaches carefully. As he gets closer, he realizes something's off. The man is wearing a mall security uniform, but not a modern one. This looks straight out of the 1990s. The badge is still shiny. The uniform is still pressed, like he just started his shift. In a mall that's been closed since 2008, the man turns, slowly, like his neck is rusty. When Marcus sees his face, he takes a step back. The man is smiling, but it's wrong. Too wide. Too many teeth. And his eyes aren't looking at Marcus, they're looking through him. "Beautiful, isn't it?" the man says. His voice is pleasant, cheerful. The mall, in its prime. Look at all the shoppers. He gestures at the empty atrium, the dead fountain, the darkness. "There's nobody here," Marcus says, hand on his pepper spray. The man's smile gets wider, impossibly wider. "Oh, but there is. They're always here, shopping, eating, living. The mall never really closed, you know. It just changed management." Marcus backs away and returns to his office. He's shaking. He checks the monitors showing the atrium. Empty. He rewinds the footage. What he sees makes his blood turn to ice. On the tape, he can see himself, talking, gesturing, having a full conversation. But he's alone. There's nobody else there, just Marcus, talking to empty air. But that's not even the worst part. In the footage, behind Marcus, the empty mall isn't empty. Shadows move in the background, shapes that might be people, shopping, walking, living their small lives. And in every frame, getting closer to Marcus, is a darkness that seems to have form. Marcus spends the rest of his shift researching Rolling Acres Mall. What he finds makes him want to quit immediately. 5 security guards have vanished over the years, not quit, not fired, vanished. They clocked in for their shift and never clocked out. The last one was in 2019, David Park, 23 years old, 3 weeks on the job. His final log entry, "They're so happy here." The shoppers, they never want to leave. Maybe I don't either. Marcus finds a forum for former mall employees. The stories are all the same. Strange sightings, voices from empty stores. And always, always the feeling of being watched. One post stands out. "If you see the old security guard, don't talk to him. He's not security anymore. He's recruiting." Marcus tries to quit. His supervisor laughs. "Every new guy sees things. It's a big, empty building. Your mind plays tricks. Give it another week." So Marcus stays. He needs the money too badly to walk away. For 3 nights, he changes his routine. No more walks through the main mall. Just check the storage areas and hide in the office. On the 4th night, someone knocks on his office door. Steady, patient, polite. Marcus checks the monitor showing the hallway. Empty. But the knocking continues. "Security," a pleasant voice calls, "just checking in on the new guy." It's the voice from the atrium. Marcus doesn't answer. He turns up his phone, trying to drown out the sound. The knocking gets louder and louder until it's not knocking anymore. It's pounding, the door shaking in its frame, then silence. Marcus looks at the monitor. The hallway isn't empty anymore. The smiling security guard is there, but he's not alone. Behind him are others, all in different uniforms from different eras of the mall, all with those 2 wide smiles, all staring directly at the camera, directly at Marcus. The monitor flickers. When it comes back, they're closer. Flicker, closer, flicker. They fill the hallway. Flicker. The office door is open. Marcus spins around. The office is empty, But the door is definitely open. He runs for the exit. But the mall is different now. The shadows are deeper. The corridors are longer. And everywhere, just at the edge of his vision, he can see them. Shoppers, families, employees, all going about their business in a mall that's been dead for 15 years. He can hear them. Conversations, cash registers, the food court sizzling. The dead mall is alive, but it's the wrong kind of life. No matter which way he runs, he ends up back in the atrium. They're waiting for him, the security guards from every era, the smiling man in front. "Welcome to orientation," he says. "We've been waiting for you to join the team." "I quit," Marcus says. "Nobody quits Rolling Acres. We have excellent job security." David learned that. Thompson learned that. They all learned, and now they're part of the team. He gestures to the other guards. Now that Marcus looks closer, he can see it. They're faded, like old photographs given form. "The mall needs security," the smiling man continues, "not from the outside, from the inside, from all the shoppers who can never leave. That's our job now, forever." Marcus runs, pushes through the circle, sprints for where the exit should be. The mall fights him, corridors shift, stores appear on the wrong side. But somehow, he finds the door, bursts into the parking lot, makes it to his car. As he drives away, he looks back. The mall is lit up, every window is glowing. He can see shoppers inside, and in the entrance, a line of security guards, all waving goodbye. Marcus quits via email, never goes back for his last paycheck, gets a warehouse job the next day. Terrible pay, worse hours, but it's away from Rolling Acres. A month later, he gets a package, no return address. Inside, a security uniform, brand new, crisp, with a badge that has his name on it, and a note. "Position still available. The mall is waiting. We'll save your spot." Marcus burns the uniform. But sometimes, late at night, he dreams of empty corridors and two wide smiles. In those dreams, he's wearing a security uniform, walking eternal rounds. He wonders how long before the dreams become real. Before, he finds himself driving back to Rolling Acres, ready to clock in for a shift that never ends. The other guards are still waiting after all, and they're very patient. These aren't stories, they're warnings. Birchwood Mall, locals see lights at night. Adrian Mall, 3 demolition attempts failed. Workers found fresh footprints in sealed areas. Rolling Acres, still standing, no security company will touch it. Malls were designed to trap you. Confusing layouts, no windows. Now imagine that design is corrupted. These places remember being alive. They try to be alive again. You don't want to be part of that. Drop a comment. Ever felt watched in an abandoned place? Tell me about it. If you're thinking about exploring an abandoned mall, don't. Because once you're inside, sometimes the exit signs stop working. Sometimes you become part of the collection. The malls are waiting. If this scared you, hit subscribe for weekly horror stories, ring the bell, and remember, stay out of abandoned malls. Sweet dreams.